What's up, YouTube? JT is Reborn here, and welcome back to another edition to my Godzilla and Marvel comic book reviews. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about Godzilla versus Avengers. That's right, Godzilla is finally facing off against Earth's mightiest heroes for the first time in, well, a really long time. Well, technically, some Avengers have probably carried over between books. I mean, Spider-Man's on this one. He's already fought Godzilla in a prior issue, or is that in the Venom? But yes, Godzilla is beefing with literally everybody. I mean, when you think about it, like in the same month, he's like the only character feuding with both the Avengers and the Justice League. I mean, that's pretty like impressive, like if you ask me. I mean, nobody's doing it like him. But basically, this issue is another one of these series. I think they got one more left in this one, and then I think that's it in this particular series. And then next up is Godzilla Destroys the Marvel Universe whenever that one comes out. But the next one after this is Godzilla versus Thor. And compared to some of the other ones, this is probably the most lighthearted of the bunch. Like, you don't really feel the lasting stakes because we're kind of just told the aftermath of basically what happens with members of the Avengers being kind of scolded. It's more lighthearted. It's played more up for laughs. The Spider-Man one had some humor in it too, but you felt the stakes a little bit more. This one is more so Agent Maria Hill scolding the Avengers after what happened, like how they just kind of let all this stuff kind of go out of like, you know, become like a little bit chaotic and like out of like hands or whatever. So we see Captain America, we see Luke Cage, we see Spider-Man, we see Wolverine, who's looking more like Two-Face. At first I was like, what the hell happened to Wolverine in this thing? Did I miss something? But they do explain that he did, like, take a blast from Godzilla's atomic breath, and it's taking him a lot longer than normal to kind of recuperate. Like, he is just, like, burnt to char, and it is pretty funny. Spider-Man's in there, and he's kind of laughing and just being his Spider-Man personality, and, you know, Iron Man Tony Stark's there as well. So basically what happened was Godzilla went up against Fang Foom or whatever this monster's name. I'm not too familiar with him. I think he's like more of a Doctor Strange or Iron Man type villain. Been a while since I've like seen this character. And again, I'm somebody who's not as familiar with Marvel as I am DC Comics. Like, I know a lot about Marvel, but not like everything. So yeah, so Godzilla faces off against him. There's some, you know, fun little action bits, and the Avengers kind of show up, and there means to kind of find means to stop both characters. And then Jet Jaguar shows up. So yes, Jet Jaguar's first time ever interacting with the Avengers, and you can see there where Wolverine gets torched to the side, and it is pretty funny to watch. Like, Wolverine, he just looks like so miserable in this issue, and that might be like my favorite aspect, like, because it's cool to see like Wolverine doing his thing as well. So, and also I think Wolverine was in the X-Men one, so he's fought Godzilla again in this thing. So some characters have actually battled Godzilla more than once in this series so far, so I think that's kind of interesting. But so yeah, Godzilla faces off against this other monster, and this other monster basically just wants to be known as the king of the monsters, and we come to find out that it attacked Godzilla more so for ego's sake than anything else, like, because Godzilla just kind of ignored it. This one's written by David F. Walker, and George Jeanty is the penciler, and Carl Story is the inker, and all these other people worked on this thing. I like how they've carried over this issue throughout it, and you can see that looks more like the legendary Godzilla silhouette in this thing, so I think that's kind of cool. They're paying tribute to that. Jet Jaguar was brought in. Like, this is made by, I think, the niece or nephew of Goro Ibuki from Godzilla vs. Megalon, so it's almost like they're kind of pulling some of the canon from the movies into this one. I mean, you got Godzilla in there, you got other Toho, like Kaiju and all that. You want to have some sort of reference from what came before, but you can almost kind of look at it as like in taking place in that universe a little bit too. And they do kind of talk about, like, they do bring up a valid point with the name Jet Jaguar, and it's Spider-Man and Luke Cage. Does that thing look like a jet to you? Looks more like a jet than a Jaguar, and they're kind of confused by the name. Like, and it's kind of an ongoing joke, like, why is he called Jet Jaguar? We know it was like made by a kid, but like, he doesn't look like a jet, and he certainly doesn't look like a Jaguar. It's just kind of a strange name, but I mean, when you think about it, but I mean, people just kind of roll with it. But if any characters can kind of like make cracks at the name, it's going to be Spider-Man. So of course, like I said, it's just them having their scolding from Maria Hill about the whole situation, and they're like a bunch of kids who are like in the principal's office, and they're like, oh, why did we get in trouble for this thing? And yeah, so like I said, there's some collateral damage that happened. This bridge and all that was destroyed, but luckily people's lives were saved in the process, and that's kind of the basics of it all. She talks about the building of this Jet Jaguar thing, and Iron Man's like, oh, your uncle is Goro Ibuki, and Spider-Man's like, who? And he's like, yeah, we kind of used his old designs to try and build something from scratch. Like, oh, how did you make him grow to size without pin particles and all that too? So interesting the way they're kind of incorporating the Marvel mythos into that as well, about like how characters can sometimes grow and all that. Like, okay, like what's your scientific explanation for how he's able to do this stuff? So they're thinking of like, you know, taking Jet Jaguar's origin and kind of adapting it within the Marvel universe and like things that you would logically ask in those types of situations. But yeah, like I said, Godzilla got in the fight with him. He rips off Jet Jaguar's arm at one point, and you know, what's his name, Fang Foom. God, that's a tough name to remember. Fang Foom. Fang Foom. He beats the hell out of him. He rips off Jet Jaguar's arm and starts slapping the shit out of him. Like, to me, that was fun. And eventually, like I said, Fang Foom was captured, and Godzilla just kind of goes on his merry way by the end of it after whooping his ass. And just the fact that he was just really angry about the whole thing because he wanted to be seen as the king of the monsters. And like I said, Godzilla just kind of up and left after they got their asses kicked, and Wolverine's like, get back here, I ain't done with you, you freaky lizard. And just seeing him like this is like, God, it's just, like I said, there's some funny bits, and just looking how messed up Wolverine looks in this situation is pretty funny. And that's basically just kind of the issue in a nutshell. It's played more so for laughs. There's not much in terms of stakes. I figured it would have been a little bit more serious going into this thing. It's Godzilla vs. Avengers, but it's played more for lighthearted, like, humor's sake. And Godzilla's modeled after his Millennium design. Looks like kind of the Megaguirus a little bit with the long purple spikes and such. A little bit of that, a little bit of the Kiryu one. But, you know, it's a popular design. I wasn't always as big a fan of Millennium Godzilla. You know, the Godzilla, not quite the Godzilla 2000 face. It's like they took the, like the Kiryu design, but kind of added the purple dorsal plates that you'd see more so from, like, Megaguirus into the mix and all that, too. Let's just say Millennium Godzilla. It's more so, like, akin to the Millennium Godzilla design. And that's one thing I've liked about the series. Depending on, like, the artists, like, they all kind of drew Godzilla in their own way and different style. Like this one obviously modeled more after the Millennium series, and then some people took a little bit of a different direction here and a bit of a different direction here, and that's been the fun of it as well. And like I said, this silhouette is clearly the legendary Godzilla design, but I think they didn't want to necessarily use that, probably for fear of like legendary or something. I don't know, like, can you use the legendary design in a non-legendary comic, or is that just that has to be specifically to like the legendary Godzilla universe or whatnot? So I mean, you can use the Toho stuff, we have access to the IP. I'm not exactly sure how that would work, but they probably wanted to avoid it, so they went with more of a classic design. But yeah, so like I said, it's definitely more the Megaguirus design. You can see right there on the front there. But I mean, this is a fun, lighthearted comic book. I was surprised. I figured the stakes would have felt more intense and higher here, but they kind of went in a more, like I said, lighthearted direction. I mean, if you're bringing in Jet Jaguar, you've obviously got the Godzilla versus Megalon connections, and it's interesting to see that a character kind of interact with like the Millennium series, like if we're kind of pulling that continuity into the comic of sorts. So, but you know what, I had fun with it. Not my favorite of the Godzilla verse series that Marvel has put together. I think I might like, I don't know, like the Hulk one is definitely up there for me. I like the Spider-Man one quite a bit too. And the X-Men one, like I said, each one I've had fun with. We didn't get a new form of Godzilla this time around. I think that's a carryover from the X-Men one as well, where we didn't really get that. But I mean, like I said, this one's just kind of more played for laughs and just kind of made for fun. So like, okay, here's Godzilla fighting Avengers on a bridge and all that, and fighting another monster. Let's not make it too seriously. People are here to have fun. Let's do that. And that's kind of what you're going for. And if you wanted a little bit more lighthearted comic book within this whole Godzilla versus Marvel Universe sort of thing, then you'll probably gravitate towards this one a little bit more. If you want something a little bit more heavy and it's got stakes and emotions and all that, I'd probably say the Godzilla Hulk one is the one to kind of go with in that regards, or, you know, maybe the Fantastic Four and all that too. I don't know, like there's a lot of different like tones in that you can go with in, you know, in terms of some of these comic books. But hey, it is what it is. What did you think about Godzilla vs. Avengers #1? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. So the one after this, we got the Godzilla vs. Thor one, and I think that'll pretty much be it for the Godzilla vs. series. So I've enjoyed doing this one. People always ask me for years, hey, when are you gonna cover some Marvel stuff? And I'm like, all right, well, here you go. Here it is. Here's some Marvel stuff, but with a Godzilla twist. So maybe one day I'll cover the original like Godzilla Marvel comic books, because I did buy that like that trade paperback with the entire run. I think it's in color too. So just to kind of like have that for collection's sake, and to actually read it, because I actually haven't read it fully yet. But hey, you know what? That'll come at some day. Like that, it's going to happen inevitably, I'm sure. So, but anyways, that's all I have to say about this one. thanks for watching, everybody. After this, I got some DC comic book reviews I was going to cover, but want to get this one out first and foremost because, well, it's a special one. It's Godzilla versus Avengers. It's not something you get to talk about like every single, like get to, you know, we don't get this every day. Like this is like a rare occurrence. It hasn't happened for a very, very, very long time since Godzilla faced off against the Avengers in the Marvel Universe. And you know what? It is kind of cool too when you think about it. Like, I mean, seeing this character, like Toho's so lean to kind of let the character jump to different IPs and gives it more brand recognition, gives people a chance to read something they normally wouldn't, and it helps keep them alive. But like, I mean, what other character can you think of has battled the Justice League, the Avengers, and the Power Rangers within a span of a year? I mean, I can't think of anybody else, but you know what? This is really cool stuff. So, but yeah, that's all I have to say. As always, take care now. Bye-bye then, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace out.